things. For a lot of times we get together and we talk about the industry and what's happening in the industry, latest trends. But today we get to talk about our grads and what it was like to be here and to experience Full Sail as a student. So thrilled to introduce you to our panelists today.
About the industry and what's happening in
Today we have Kakia Amarh. She is a CEO of Largo Legend. She's also a film production master's grad, as well as a digital marketing graduate. And she has her master's in project management. So she has multiple degrees. So welcome, Kakia. Next, we have Carla West, who is the founder of Marketing by Carla. And she's a graduate of our media design master's program. And then finally, we have Laura Maria Del Real Avila, who is a CEO and founder and project manager of Real Focus Entertainment. She's also an experience manager on Norwegian cruise lines. So she's joining us from the Caribbean right now. And we have people joining us from all over the place today. But Kakia is joining me here in person. So I'm going to start off by allowing her to tell us a little bit about herself and what did your life look like when you were starting here at Full Sail and versus to what you're doing now. Like, I would love for you to share some of the cool projects you're working on, because I know you're doing some really extraordinary things.
Yes, I am. So prior to attending Full Sail, first off, I am a 20-year Navy veteran. So I honorable discharged 20 years of the Navy. Hoorah. And I was a realtor right before joining Full Sail, right before enrolling. And so right now, currently, I have my own film production company, and so that's what my life looked like.
Yeah, that's really amazing. I know she's going to be humble now, but she was just telling me right before we started that she has hired 25 grads to work on feature films. She's working on some really extraordinary things and has a million irons in the fire. So we're really proud of what Kiki has been up to since graduation. Carla, I'd love for you to go next and share a little bit about what your life looked like when you started at Full Sail versus what you're doing now, and share a little bit about some of the cool projects that you're working on.
You go next and share a little bit about what your life looked like when you started at Full Sail versus what you're doing now, and share a little bit about some of the cool projects.
So it's overlapping.
Oh, yeah, it does sound like the audio is a little overlap. Hopefully our production team can help us work through those technical things. Carla, give it a shot now. Let's see if it's working a little bit better for us.
Oh, yeah, it does sound like the audio is a little overlap.
I'm still hearing the echo.
Hopefully our production team can help us work through those technical things.
Can you skip to Laura? It's
getting some feedback. Okay, thank you. Laura, we'll have you go next and share us a little bit about what your life was like when you started Full Sail versus what you're doing now. Okay, thank you. Laura, we'll have you go next and share us a little bit about what your life was like when you started Full Sail versus what you're doing now.
For sure. So when I was doing my entertainment business master, at the same time, I was taking 100% of my master, and I was going to this.
Okay, thank you. Laura, we'll have you go next and share us like when you started Full Sail versus what you're doing now.
For sure. So when
we'll give them a second. Hold on.
Can you just buffer and talk for a minute?
Yes, I'll be happy to. So we're going to allow everybody to share a little bit more about their background once we get some of the technical stuff worked out. But Kakia, can you tell us specifically, I know we're going to get into some other stuff a little bit down the road here, but can you tell us specifically, like, you know, I know you'd mentioned some of the challenges that you had, with having, because you had two kids. One of them, your daughter was going to school here with you at the same time. Tell us a little bit about what that picture looked like specifically while you were in the program and some of the challenges that you faced.
Right. So my oldest daughter, she, that's how I found out about Full Sail, coming to her BTS. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. But I ended up moving here with my youngest daughter, who was in 5th grade. And so that was a challenging dynamic because my daughter was also in the film program. She was in the undergrad program, and I was in the master's program. And so just having the schedule with my youngest daughter in elementary school was very challenging for me. So time management was a big thing that I had to really hurdle across and stride. So I know one of the things that helped me out in that situation was my husband brought me another phone. And so I carried that phone with me for business purposes. And so anytime I walked on campus, anything that was related to my daughter's school, I used that for me daily. And my personal phone, I just kept at home. So all of my friends, my families, like I said, I'm retired Navy. So I have friends all over the world, Japan, Hawaii, everywhere. So they're on different time zones. They'll call me or text me throughout the day and night. So I just had to basically zone everyone out and stay busy. And the Full Sail will keep you busy. It's a rigorous program, but rigorous doesn't necessarily equate to difficult. To me, it equates to focused. So that helped me with that.
Yeah. What is it that prompted you to want to pursue a degree in the first place?
So I had my undergrad in human resource management and also project management. I have a master's in project management. Being in the Navy 20 years, that's what I did. I led. And my passion, every night when I went to sleep, I just could not wake up and not do my passion, which was entertainment. I'm a writer, director, and a producer. And so my husband and I funded our first independent feature film. It's a broad day. It's on Amazon Prime, Tubi, Roku TV. It's on all the streaming platforms. And I said, before I make another film, I want to invest in my career and my company and learn the proper way of how to completely do a film production. So I enrolled in Full Sail, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it was always a dream of yours to go into the film industry.
Yes.
And you have your digital marketing degree as well in project management. Do you feel that all of those degrees have helped you run your company and do what you're doing now?
Absolutely. Me being the CEO, the project management degree came in handy, and then film, obviously, for the production wise. But then I also wanted to do digital marketing. My first feature film prior to me coming to Full Sail, we had a $25,000 marketing budget for that. And so I said, you know what, that was from the distribution company. So I said, before I pay into another amount, $25,000, I want to learn myself. So that's what prompted me to learn and enroll in a online digital marketing program at Full Sail, and it was absolutely amazing. So all of those degrees really, really, really helped soar my career and allowed me to hire 25 Full Sail alumni and staff. So
wow, that's impressive. I love that you've been able to give back to the Full Sail community over time too. That that's wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about what it was like being a campus student versus an online student, because you've done both. Mm-hmm. Did you feel that it was difficult for you to connect with students, like other students, when you were in an online program? What did you feel like? What did you have to be more deliberate about it, manage your time differently? What was it that you saw as the biggest difference?
Yes. So for campus, I would like to say it was absolutely amazing. I kind of equate my education and my experience to X-Men. I feel like I was just in a school of creators and people that were just like me. They were just as creative, if not more. And they were just as smart, brilliant, and talented. And so just being around people like me, it just inspired me, and it pushed me to limits that I didn't think that I had. And I always knew that I kind of had some kind of creative spark in me, but just being around the community and my peers just pushed me even more. And then also the faculty, every one of my professors, they helped us dissect everything first. And then they guide us to finding solutions and answers. So me being able to do it on my own, it just built my confidence even more. So the networking abilities, being able to partner with classmates and different people, also different departments, that was just amazing. And that was the the in-person experience on campus. Online experience, it was a little bit difficult because you have to be more strict and structured. You have to have boundaries with just even getting your assignments done. And then as far as taking on meeting new people and networking, they have an open forum that you can communicate with your classmates, and that's amazing. So you can communicate with classmates. It's just sometimes you don't get that hands-on to actually work with them on projects. My particular program, I believe there was 1 or 2 classes where we actually worked together in a group project. But outside of that, they did. I love that they let us come to the Hall of Fame week. So that was
Well, and that's
amazing.
coming up pretty soon. Like we actually, within the next month, we have Hall of Fame coming back to campus, and we have lots of panels running. Tell us a little bit about Hall of Fame while we're getting things worked out.
Hall of Fame was amazing. I think it's one of the best things for me. It was very rewarding. It's almost like our homecoming, since we don't technically have a homecoming, but to me, it's better than a homecoming. You're surrounded by industry professionals outside of your professors, but the industry professionals that come in and they give us, one-on-one panels and courses and classes, and you get to meet all the new tech people and, get everything you need. Everything you need is literally in this building, in this space. So I really love that and enjoy that.
It's awesome. It's always my favorite time of the year because it does bring all the grads back to campus, as many as that can come. But then all of our Hall of Famers have an opportunity to give back to students and talk about what's the latest trends are in the industry and what's happening and give life advice, right? So that's always like a very exciting time for us. The other thing I wanted to talk a little bit more was like the projects that you were working on. And I'm hoping that I can ask Carla questions now.
Okay.
Awesome. We'll talk about projects too. We'll get back to that. Let me jump in real quick. First of all, before I ask Carla questions, I also want to show some photos here of our wonderful Kakia at graduation. If we could pull that, like a photo of her up at graduation with the faculty. This is her at graduation, and so did you take your digital marketing degree first, or
I did my film, my MFA in 2023, 2024. And then I immediately went into my digital marketing 2024, 2025. So I was in October 2025 class. And as I was walking off the stage, I heard a group of people chanting my name, and I'm like, is that TMZ? And it was the actual professors from my film, my first graduate program, and I was like, oh, I got to get a picture with them. So they allowed me to snap.
You're very popular. I know all of your faculty members love and support you, so that's great. So next we'll get to Carla. Carla, tell us a little bit about, we'll go back to our original question that we were having some technical issues with. Tell us a little bit about what your life looked like while you were in school and while you were enrolled, and what it looks like now. And we do have some pictures too of you at graduation.
I can hear you.
All right, we hear you. You're good. I think we're good now.
Awesome. Yes. So my life behind or before Full Sail or before I graduated, I was not only a business owner, but I also worked full time at another institution. I am currently still the public communication specialist at Fayetteville State, and let me say the illustrious Fayetteville State University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. And with that came with marketing, communications, graphic design, all of the things that I essentially was a one-woman show for the entire division of strategic enrollment and student success. So it was a lot of hard work. So that was my life before, and then after. I am still in the position. However, I am also holding more of a leadership authority in my position. So I'm able to make more creative direction calls when it comes to the branding and communications of our division.
That's wonderful. And we've got some pictures too of Carla at her graduation. Some wonderful photos. I wish we could show all of them. We'll have them bring them up.
I couldn't pick the best ones.
So I think our productions team is in the process of pulling those up. And then we'll go to Laura. You'll be next and share us a little bit about your experience and what you were doing, like when you started Full Sail versus what your life looks like now, which I know is very different because you're in the Caribbean right now. So.
All right. So when I started Full Sail, wait, can you repeat the question one more
Yeah.
time?
What was it when you started Full Sail? Like, what did your life look like then versus now? And I know you're also an international student. So Share with us a little bit about how your life is different now compared to when you started.
Okay, yes, for sure. So I kind of got the question. So mainly when I was in Full Sail, I was managing like my study wise, I was working with the clubs and everything. And now it's like the full experience of like actually working in the entertainment industry. I work right now in a cruise. I am the shows and experiences manager here at Norwegian Cruises in the Jewel. And every single night we have a show. We roll a show every single night. So actually going into Full Sail and understanding how like a control booth works has been an incredible experience for me to understand how can I lead better teams, how can I call better shows, how do I change video wise, how what camera is showing up, because actually that's what I do like daily basis. How can I use like my leadership to lead cast, to manage people, to kind of like do an HR thing, and everything. So it has been like a wonderful like learning from Full Sail, like having also like the knowledge of copyright. So how can I understand these shows that I'm like rolling every single night? What copyright do they go with? There are shows that have like musical theater licenses. There are shows that have music licenses from the music industry. So how do they work and everything? So it has been like becoming like a wider effect on me on how things can be rolled for shows.
That's so wonderful. And what I love about that is I know a lot about the degree that you took. So you took a entertainment business master's degree, but you learned a lot about all different aspects of entertainment. You learned about show production and how to run a show. You learned about, working with, the rights of music and things like that. And that just goes to show like how collaborative the Full Sail community is. If there's something that you're pursuing a degree in here and you have an interest in another area, there's ways that you can learn about those things, even if it's not the specific degree that you're studying in. And I know that's true for you, Laura, because I know we've worked on shows together here at Full Sail that were very immersive, more from like the production standpoint, as opposed to like, academic learning about law and marketing and things like that. Mm-hmm. So that's great. So let's talk a little bit about what initially motivated you to pursue your degree. I know you already shared, Kakia, a little bit about your motivation, but Carla, what motivated you? What prompted you to want to start a master's degree?
Yeah, sure. So I first had my bachelor's degree in marketing, and I realized it was about 7 years after I decided for my master's. I realized that I felt some type of lack of confidence as a designer, even though I was already doing the work. Most specifically, I had a moment where I had applied for a designer job within my institution, and I did not get the job. So that made me question, am I a legitimate designer? Am I, are there things that I don't know? So that prompted me to look at graphic design programs. And what landed me at Full Sail was that it was something that I could complete relatively quickly. And the program, all of the course work and courses, the course load seemed very challenging and robust. So that's what led me to my ultimate decision.
Awesome. Well, I can relate to, feeling that lack of confidence. And sometimes knowledge is what helps you overcome that, right? When you know more about a subject, it gives you the confidence to feel more comfortable in that space. So I think that was a great move for you. How about you, Laura? What was your reasoning for going back to school?
So I studied in Columbia musical theater, and I had a minor in production. So I was already a singer, dancer, and actress, and I was already being a stage manager. So for me, I wanted to go into the place where I could like become a producer and know how can I help like a full cast to make a show from zero? How can I develop an artist in other areas different like from musical theater? And that's what exactly like Full Sail showcased me. And I was like super in love with the program I was like reading in the webpage, because it's like I want to be growing as a producer. I want to be a leader. I want to understand financially how can I work out things, project management things that are actually things that I use additional to my expertise in a stage manager. for my position right now. Also, it was working for building my own company, Real Focus Entertainment, which we develop artists and everything. So it's like making the 360 of the entertainment. It also like took me out from musical theater just, and they opened myself to understand how I can record a music video. How can I how can I budget for a project? How can I budget for an EP? How can I go and get like selected for awards by Latin Grammys or another kind of like awards that can give prestige to your career? And it was like kind of like how can I open my network and my abilities so I can grow professionally?
I love it. That's wonderful. And what I love seeing too is like you guys are all very successful women. Like you guys have all started up your own companies. You're doing your own things. You're working on projects independently. And that just shows that, you know, you have the tenacity. I think our undergraduate students, you know, it's wonderful that they're pursuing an undergrad degree, but there's only a small percentage of the population that goes on for a graduate level degree. You know, it's a higher level degree, tends to open up new opportunities, new doors for you. And it also requires a lot of work. Many times our graduate students are at a different point of life than our undergraduate students. Our undergraduate students might be leaving right out of high school and going right into a college degree. Oftentimes our graduate students, they tend to have families, they have jobs, they have a million other things going on at the time that they start their degree. So I want to talk a little bit about what it means, like juggling all of that. And I know, you know, Kakia, you've really had some challenges, you know, because you've got, you know, you'd mentioned like your daughters moved here with you and your husband stayed in Jacksonville and all of that. What do you feel was like the biggest challenge that you faced with juggling all of that at the time that you were here?
I would say one of the biggest challenges was for me is setting boundaries. So like I said before, rigorous to me meant being focused. And so a part of that being focused is setting boundaries so that I can focus. So being able to say no was a challenge for me, because I'm not that I'm a doormat or anything like that, but I'm always willing to help out. I'm always, you know, dependable. But a lot of times being able to say no means you're just as dependable because you won't be able to take on stuff that you can't complete. So that was one of the most difficult things for me. And then just balancing my schedules. I also have a son. My son stayed at home with my husband, and he had a surgery. So, you know, needing to mother him and things that of that nature from afar was challenging as well. But but I soared through it, being a 2-time sailor, a Navy sailor, and a full sailor. So.
I love it. Well, and you also, towards the end of your degree, you were a work study student too. So you were a mom, you were a full-time student, you were also working, you're also a wife. Like that's a lot to balance all at one time. So, you know, bravo to you for getting through that and doing so well.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Laura, I'm going to go to you next. Laura, tell us what was it like for you? Because one thing I remember about you, Laura, is that you picked up extra things on top of your studies. So how did you balance all of that? Share with them, because you did a lot of production work. I know I worked on the behind the scenes tour one Sunday, and you were in charge of producing the whole show, and you did a fabulous job, and everybody survived, and that was great. But tell the audience, what is it like to be a graduate student and have a full-time school situation, and you know, also be working and doing all those extra things?
So I remember, like, I opened my calendar in my laptop, the one that Full Sail provides, and it was like line to line with different colors and everything I had to do. So I had like my academic things, and then I had like when I was gonna accomplish my homework and everything. I had like music video, meetings for third hand and climbing. I had a Full Sail student event crew gig. So I was like learning from everywhere I could, every single building I could go to. I was like, okay, I want to just like learn and like be like multidisciplinary and everything. So I was not only learning like entertainment business, I was learning music business, artist development with 30 and climbing. I was learning show production with student event crew. I was learning film things because I was doing like music videos with artists we were developing.
Wow.
I also remember they're showcasing right now a picture of me. That's the
Yeah,
control booth.
that's her in the
Where
control
Full
booth.
Sail Live is operated. Yeah, so like actually like all the screens you see is actually right now what I work in. Like I can like memorize what is doing lights, what is doing sound, how can I engage like different things at the same time. So it was amazing like to understand like the bigger ways, because I was only like doing a stage management thing in my country, but then it was like, okay, just like add video, add copyright, add the fact that you need to have a network to expand yourself, learn how to have LinkedIn. And it was like super overwhelming, of course, but I think it was just like what held me like super tight together was my passion for it, and like understanding the entertainment and not seeing it as like a gossip thing that is happening around with this artist or this other,
Yeah.
but it's actually like a serious thing and like a profession that you can build around it.
That's really, really cool. Carla, what about you? How was it for you with juggling everything? Because you were working as well throughout your degree.
Right, right. So it was definitely very challenging. Um, I can remember around the summertime, that was super stressful. It was a good stressful, but I know I had some moments where I shed some tears.
Yeah.
So, with that, I was not quite yet in a leadership position, but I did have projects where for example, over the summertime, we were branding a dormitory for our first year students. And they said, Carla, you do graphic design work, do your magic. And I was like, I've never done anything like that. Of course, smaller scale stuff, but something large scale, as well as working with the vendors for installation. That was a whole nother other thing. So there were moments and times where I've had those big projects, and then don't ask me why, but I chose to torture myself, and I went for project management here at Fayetteville State as an add-on. So
Wow.
I was dual enrolled while I was doing my MFA,
Oh my
and
goodness.
yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot to take on.
Right. Right, right. So
Wow.
I was doing a lot. So I think my biggest challenge for me, as Kakia had said, saying no. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely had to say no to a lot of different things, especially with my business. I had to put that on hold. And I also, I think my health, my well-being, took a hit as well.
Mm.
So that was something, or that is something that I'm focusing on right now, because I've realized that your health is so important, especially as a creative. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're prioritizing your health. I mean, I think that's important for everybody to keep in mind that you got to take care of yourself before you can take care of everybody else, for sure.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So, Kakia, you went through the film production master's program, and I want you to share a little bit about the production schedules. That's an intense program. It meets 5 days a week, every day on, Monday through Friday on campus, and you're working on group projects and student films and all that. It's probably the most intense campus experience we have in our graduate programs. Can you tell our audience a little bit about how the production schedules and collaboration manage the real world and some of the things that you've worked on from like a production standpoint outside of Full Sail?
Yes, so the program and the structure itself was very, very rigorous, but it's what I signed up for, and I actually cannot believe I'm getting paid to actually do what I'm doing. That's one of the biggest realizations. Like, wow, I'm actually getting paid to do something that I love. But the scheduling, it mirrors the real world, and I really loved and appreciated that, because coming from a non-film background and just walking into it, I didn't know what to expect. And so to see that actually in the industry, that's how things really go down. I can give you a small example. My last feature film, Guilty Victim, which will stream May 5th on all streaming platforms.
Ooh, I have to watch for it.
Yes. I had 2 people on my production one worked for Steve Harvey and one worked for Nick Cannon. They were on their sets, and they said the only difference between their set and my set was I didn't have the budget that they had. So just to know from, someone of that caliber was on my set, and to see everything and how everything worked in a real world situation, we are definitely getting what a mimic of the real world. We have the technology, and which brings up another point, that I love being a Full Sail graduate because I can audit any class, and I just audited a class last month, and I'm currently working on a feature film right now, and so I wanted to prepare for that by auditing a class. So I was able to audit a class. So just that it 100% mirror the real world, and I really appreciate it. And I love that it keeps us up on technology, and that we can continue to come back and learn all the updates and things, especially with AI moving forward.
Yeah,
Society.
that is a great thing. Like, I've got several degrees all from different schools, and none of them are Full Sail, unfortunately. I need to go get a 4th degree from Full Sail. The great thing about it is that you can audit classes even in the degree program that you're not registered in. So you can learn about things in all different areas depending upon the route you go. And I think as fast as technology is changing and that AI is now there, like, our classes are changing every month, and we can change things every month because we have new classes starting every month instead of waiting like a whole nother semester for things to go through. So that is a really wonderful thing. I'm glad you're taking advantage of that. That's good. Laura, I want to hear about you. And I know we have some photos to show about your experience within the entertainment degree program. And you use different applications and things like that definitely reflected the industry. And so I would love for you to share a little bit about some of the things that you use there, to, navigate your time and figure out the best way to put projects together.
For sure. So as I was like an international student, we're not allowed to work in the US, but we can volunteer. So I started like to volunteer in a music festival called Unseen in Miami, and we were like project managing everything like from our computers, and which was like a volunteering kind of thing. And then as we were all working like online to build like such a great big music festival that includes panels like from Spotify, from YouTube, Latin Grammys, it involves like a lot of project management and team management. This picture that is showcasing is actually a real event from a Latin Grammy official event. And we had like to organize everything to have like minute by minute what was going to happen. This, for example, was a panel with Latin Grammys where we were showing emerging artists how to develop their career and get like nominated to a Grammy, or how to get into the academy kind of thing. And then like you start building like networks and everything. But to answer your questions, one of the applications that we mostly worked with, it was Notion. Notion is like super great because we were like taking team management. So like who is doing something, at what time are you delivering that, what department it is. We can also create the full schedule of like how's the social media going to work, like, because we were like posting, okay, here's the panelist, this is the one, this is the event, this is the artist who's coming, these are sponsors, these are people who are going to sell things in the music festival. So there are like a lot of different parts and everything. So it's a lot of information, and you're also compromising yourself with legal agreements with people. So like we got to be like very organized. And I started literally in Unseen, like helping with social media. And I end up at the end, like when I finished my work with them, I was rolling the full festival minute by minute and understanding what was happening outside, what was happening inside, and having sponsors such as Tesla, such as Sony had to bring like their own artists there. So we were like compromising a lot of industry wise, but it was a great point where you can like meet people. And additionally, we were also like a lot of volunteers from Full Sail going in. And so it was like school wise, but it's also like my friends. And we're also working in the industry. So it was like a super good place to be in.
That is so cool. I love it. That's awesome. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the different assignments and projects that you guys worked on. And I'm actually going to start with Carla. Carla, I know you did some really cool stuff, and we have a photo here of like a collage of photos of some of the work that you did. Can you talk a little bit about some of those capstone and thesis level projects that you worked on as part of your journey?
Sure, yes. So, with my master's thesis, um, we could have chosen from a wide variety of different things, and I decided to do Mandy Madison. She was a fictional artist, and we had to brand her concert tour. So it's the vision board, brand board that you see in the middle. And we developed some assets here. So I did posters, I did merchandise, I did a lot of different deliverables here. And I would like to say with that project, it was interesting because it was already stuff that I had already done, but it was to a greater scale. And I had a greater understanding of how to brand effectively, how to do brand storytelling. I also have some things that I designed here.
Ooh, a flask.
Yeah, it was a flask. So it was part of some
That's
of the
fun.
assets that I created, and I actually had some of these created for not only for myself, but also my professors as a thank you gift.
Aw,
This bag as well with the Lucid Juice
nice.
emblem at the bottom. So I think with this master thesis, and all of the other projects that we had to do, it really got us into what design thinking is, what design research is. It's not, creating a logo and just slapping something up there. No, you actually have to do the research. You actually have to read and understand what your client needs. You have to understand the design principles, all of the visual hierarchy, what creates a cohesive brand that
Mm-hmm.
can communicate effectively to your desired target audience. And I was very fortunate enough to have that background experience in marketing to understand, who are we speaking to, who are we marketing to, and how using the creativity that I have in throughout the master's program, how to translate that into something cohesive and memorable. And that's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to be memorable in the work that I do, not only in my presence, but I want my work to speak for itself. So my professors definitely pushed me forward into creating good quality and exceptional work.
That's awesome. All right, this next thing I actually want to show Kakia's student film. It's about 3 minutes long or so.
No, my student film is I think 30 seconds.
Oh,
or a
30
minute.
seconds. Oh, okay,
It's
cool.
my trailer.
So we're going to show a trailer real quick. We'll get our production team ready. We're putting them on the spot with lots of assets today. So and I'm sure it's a lot, but it's a short video. And this is going to showcase a project that you worked on as part of your thesis, right? Is there anything that you want to add to set it up?
No, we just it took us months to pre-pro it, and so what you see now is part of the post-production. So
Okay, great.
yeah, let's see.
Let the games begin.
Hey, run for your life. Hey.
Please tell me you guys can read this.
Oh my God, I love it.
You loved it.
I want to see it. I love the audio. I loved the acting, and now I'm intrigued. I want to see more.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So talk a little bit about in my understanding is within the film production master's program, you're working on that film all the way up to the end, and there's a showcase at the end of the program, right?
Yes.
Is there anything that you would add as far as like some of the things that you learned? Because you learned all different aspects of the production of that film, right?
Yes, every single aspect. So one of the requirements was in order to graduate, was we had to write, direct, and produce our own production, which that was my trailer that you saw. And so, like I said, I knew a little bit coming into Full Sail because I had already produced a feature film, and my background in project management kind of helped as well. But everything that I knew was just a teardrop in an ocean compared to the knowledge that I learned from Full Sail. The faculty really, really, really pushed me to my boundaries and helped me to express my creativeness. And so I was able to work with every department, able to communicate with every department and articulate things that I wanted. And, just every department, what you see, I kind of get all the credit because it has my name on it, but it was definitely not made alone. And so that the thesis really, really helped bring out every aspect in every department and everything that I needed to have a successful feature and everything.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's wonderful. So Laura, let's talk a little bit about, is there a certain project that stood out for you in your journey?
I was learning a lot of abilities, and part of the great project that we had doing the master in entertainment business was building our own company that can roll normally. Yeah. So when I finished a school and I have my work permit and everything in the US, I opened up my own company called Real Focus Entertainment that is focused on developing artists, helping others to change, have a branding of their specific album and everything. So I was helping one artist in Colombia, internet-wise. And for example, my company kind of hosted that. So it's called Destino Tour. It's from Laura Calop, and it was a tour that we designed so she can showcase music that is coming from what is the destiny bringing for you. So it was a show experience in which they write down things and hey, I just wish this happens in my life, and according to what she got in the paper while she was singing, she will dedicate one song of her album kind of thing. So we were all working for that, and the colors of it, logos, experiences, how to book it with other managers that were in Colombia and everything, and that it could be replayable also in the US in the future. So yeah, we were mainly working for that. But yeah, it was one of the big projects, and especially my company, it was built doing all the process, how to build the financial part of it. How is the branding? How is the logo? How do I make the marketing of my own company? What is the segment of where am I getting the people? What is the funnel? And everything kind of I think.
Yeah, it's almost I always equate the entertainment business masters to an MBA program. It's almost the same. You learn about, marketing and law and about finance and all those things, even project management. But it has an entertainment focus. So if you're passionate about the entertainment industry, it's actually a more natural and a better fit because it really allows you to do a deeper dive into what the entertainment industry is all about. So that's excellent. So before we go to the audience, because we do have time here at the end to allow them to ask some questions of us, there's one last question I want to ask you. And that's, how has completing your graduate degree impacted your career and opened up new opportunities? And I know, Kakia, you have a short video that we can show here of some of the things that you worked on since then. But do you want to comment on that before we show it?
Yes. So prior to me graduating, I pitched 3 films to a distribution company. They picked up 2 of them, one of which was the trailer you just saw. So that'll be my next feature film production. And it just opened so many doors. And like I said, I contacted the career development here at Full Sail, and I'm like, hey, I'm a company, I need some employees, and they sent me lots of applications that I reviewed. So please make sure your resume is current and up to date, and please have people review your resumes. There were some resumes I did turn down, but it just allowed me to be able to succeed in my career and open more doors. I am also currently writing 2 television shows, so I want to be a showrunner and just expand my producing skills.
That's amazing. So let's show Kakia's video real quick.
Showed up, Kakia family showed up in support of her. That's really, really big.
We down here in Largo, Florida.
Second time working with Kakia, and can't wait to do it again. I look forward to doing it again.
It's always great when you can give somebody laughter. You know, laughter is good for the soul. Laughter is the best gift that you can give somebody. And I heard that if you make somebody laugh, they'll give you anything that they want.
Feelings got me hitting on a freaky dance floor. Diallo. If I give you my love, make you no disappoint. Me, I get you for mine,
But that's the thing about being a child of God. No matter what is thrown your way, God got my back. And that's how we know this show about to be good.
Thank you everyone for coming.
I got word from distribution. Guilty victim will be released.
That's awesome. I have chills. I love it. I'm just glad that was such a huge success for you. So that's so good. Oh, thank you for sharing that. Laura, let's talk a little bit about how completing your graduate degree has impacted your career. And I know that you had some opportunities to work with Disney, which is a huge brand. So would you like to share a little bit about that?
Yes, for sure. So like for the last couple of months that I was doing my OPT, I was able to join Walt Disney World, which was like, what is this? This is a full new world. It was actually in the city where we were studying, Orlando. So it was like super amazing to have that opportunity. I have so many good memories of like how guest services work and how branding works with them. But especially it was very special for me. I was working in the recreation department, and then I started like looking for opportunities like, hey, I want to start like going to shows, like understand how you like manage this and everything. So I started like making emails, contacting people, talk about it. So my managers were helping me with that. And I was able to reach out and go and shadow Fantasmic, which is the biggest show in Walt Disney World. And it's like the Mickey's hat, like I can show you actually here. It's this Mickey's like show.
Yeah.
So it was really special for me, like actually being like near the stage, understanding like so many things that involves like technical things. How is the actual show like run by stage management wise? How many people are involved in that? Because it's only like the characters. What are like the like safety things for having characters back there? What is like the emergency procedures? How's everyone like touching certain things so we can like automate things pyro wise? And it was like such an amazing like world, like to understand like the biggest like show of Walt Disney World. And it was super amazing because also I had the opportunity to shadow Nemo show, Lion King, and Beauty and the Beast, which is very special for me. My first job was in Colombia doing Beauty and the Beast musical theater wise by Disney Theatricals, and then I could like shadow Walt Disney World like show from Beauty and the Beast. So it was like the full transformation of like I started in my country when they had the license and everything, and now I am here in Walt Disney World understanding how the actual production works. And it was amazing for me to understand like how everything works, how to work as a leader, how to work as a professional and everything. And that is something that was delivered by my master. And of course, when I got my position in Norwegian Cruises as a shows and experiences manager, opened my full mind of like worldwide how a ship works, how we manage leadership, how we make schedules for like 10 different people in the cast. Plus I have to think about technicians. Plus I need to think about like ship like operations and everything. And it has opened like my full mind of like what can actually we do in entertainment. And that was something that Full Sail gave me, like the opportunity of like go back and start like looking forward, not only one space of the entertainment industry, you can apply everyone.
That is so incredible. I'm so happy to see that you had that full circle moment, you know, that's wonderful.
Yes.
So last but not least, Miss Carla, tell us a little bit about how your graduate degree has impacted your career, because now you're kind of operating in a new space, right?
Yeah, so it's the same space, but it's at a different capacity now. So I'm in more leadership type of arena, which is very different from being a woman show. Now I'm getting ready to manage a small team of creatives that will help me and help our division strengthen our output and strengthen how we communicate effectively to our students. Not just through our many platforms of communication, but through design work and how we create those visuals. So right now I am getting ready to um, finish branding our new career services space, and we're in the process of doing a whole relaunch and rebrand for that. So that's exciting. So with Full Sail, it has helped me pitch my ideas, my creative direction with more confidence. As I mentioned before Full Sail, I was feeling very not confident in the work that I was doing, even though it was strong and it had, it was valuable and my eye was valuable. I just couldn't see it for myself. And I want to kind of look back on the last podcast that you all did. It was
On
imposter
imposter
syndrome.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that definitely hit home for me, but realizing all of the capability that I have and all of the gifts that I have and translating that into a strong output has definitely helped me. And I thank my professors, all of them, Professor Argo, Dr. Kratz, Cleveland, Dr. Rogal, all of them, Professor McClung, Baldowski, all of them have been such a great help in the work and designer that I have become.
That's really incredible. And that's one thing, the faculty here care so much about the students. And I know that you guys have gotten to know your faculty members over the years. And so bravo to all of them and the dedication that they have for every student that comes through here. So that's such a nice shout out. Thank you, Carla. That was good. So we do have a few minutes. I know that these very busy people have very busy schedules. And so I want to be respectful of their time. But we do have time for a couple questions from the audience. The first one here is, did your coursework directly influence projects that you were working on professionally? And not all of you have to respond to this, and I think we kind of talked a little bit about this already, but is there anything that specifically stands out as like, there was something I learned here that I didn't know how to do, and now I'm using it today in this capacity in my current role?
I think for me, one of my favorite courses was a script writing course. To me, in film, the foundation and heart of a television show or a film is the actual script. Everything is planned according to the script. So if you don't have a strong script, you really don't have a strong production. So for me, my script writing course and my pre-production course, those were vital to my production. Pre-production is just getting everything in order. To me, the film is made in pre-production. So I would say that for me.
Awesome. Great tip. Carla, Laura, is there anything that stands out to you?
I'll let Laura go first.
I think one of the greatest things I've learned from Full Sail is how to make legal agreements. I remember I was like in my law class and everything, and I was learning like jurisdiction, like what is like the limits of things and everything. And then when we were like volunteering in Unseen, the CEO of the company tells me like, hey, I know you're studying this. Are you able actually like to draft like legal agreements? And I was like, I don't know, but we'll see. And I started like digging in it and working with AI and everything until I figured out how to like make a full agreement, even though I am not a lawyer and it needs to be like revised by legal like people. But having that ability was like, wow, I can actually do that. And I do that like with my company if we're doing any project specifically. With like, I mean, like for example, like things so manageable as like when in my role I need to read SOPs, like a standard operations standards. I need to like be reading what's everything like going on and being very detailed, like how to write things down. And it has an ability that I didn't know that like a law class of 1 month could bring me so many things, but it like opened like the thing of like how can I like organize things so it can like legally be correct and we are evading any kind of problem, or like we don't go into a mediation or even something bigger.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and I'm sure it gave you more confidence too with like reading those contracts and being like, oh, I know what they're talking about now. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Anything that you would like to add, Miss Carla?
Sure, yes, of course. So I would say the most impactful thing that I've learned in my program was doing the design research and a constant iteration. So most, I don't want to say most, but a lot of new designers, when they start designing, they think, they just make something and it look great and that's it. Take it or leave it for the client. But in actuality, there's a lot of design iterations and processes where you're constantly refining things and you're, taking a step back and, turning your head and squinting your eyes. If this is what my client needs and does this speak to what we're trying to communicate? So definitely the look and feel style sheets were a big game changer because it allowed me to plan designs more effectively and be more strategic in how I put together my designs.
That's great. Wonderful. All right, one more question from our audience, and then we'll wrap things up. Were there moments when your business demands and academic deadlines collided, and how did you navigate that?
I would say, for me, like I said, I was a realtor prior to, and so I had to put my real estate license on hold in order to complete the program. That was one of the biggest ones because that was a source of income for me. But also in the academic program and in film particularly, you have to juggle with the weather changes. And, sometimes you may have an outside shoot and then it's raining or it's freezing cold. So you just have to learn how to navigate and set boundaries. Like I said, setting boundaries and learning how to navigate and just redirecting and, planning. If you plan it out, you'll be better prepared. So I think that's how I kind of navigated through that.
Awesome.
Yeah, as Kakia says, like I think for me it worked also like working with my limits because I was saying yes to everything, and it started like to be, of course, a collide. There's like academic things that you gotta like respond for. There's work-wise, there's volunteer things. I mean, there's a lot, and it's like, okay, what do I need now? Why can I like postergate later? Even though like it's a dream to do something, what is a priority right now? And it has been like, who can I also work with and I won't work with, and who is taking time for me, and who's like actually like empowering me, making me grow.
Yeah.
So it was like for me to like understand when to say no because it's not making me grow professionally, and then I can start going into other companies, other roles, other desires, other projects of myself I would like to have. So it's like, when is the time to do everything, and like being really clear on limits, as Kira says.
Yeah, boundaries are good.
Yeah, definitely agree. Boundaries are very important. I had to step away completely because as in my business, I am a designer and brand strategist. So, I'm doing that work there. I'm doing my work at my 9 to 5, and then I'm doing my academic studies. So creative burnout was very real.
I can imagine. Yeah, it's a lot.
So yeah, I was being literally stretched from different positions, different just areas, and I had to effectively say, I can't take this client on. And it didn't make me feel bad because I realized I was working towards something greater.
Yeah.
So I just said, there's a time and a season for these things, and it's okay to take a break.
That's wonderful. Well, I'm so proud of all of you. I think you guys were the perfect panel today for this, and I appreciate you rolling through some of our production challenges, but we got there, and I think in the end, you guys delivered such a wonderful message for our students, and showed so much humility. So thank you guys so much for being here today and taking time out. And I want to thank our audience, too, for joining us. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening and asking such great questions. I'm sorry we couldn't get to all of them today, but have a great day.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.